Nobody gonna do it for us. Right? The white man ain't gonna fight our fight. The Arabs ain't gonna fight our fight. The African, the Chinese, Japanese, not the Dalai Lama.
Nope.
Right? They ain't gonna fight your fight. They gonna fight to get with your damn 6-year-old child.
Right.
6-year-old son. Like put their stick in their damn tongue out, which is so off. Oh, this kingdom gotta go, man. This kingdom has to go, man. It's so ridiculous and trash. Right? But that's what the Lord said, man. Somebody said the earth is full of darkness.
Right.
Like the earth is full of wickedness. It's perverse. Right? All right. The earth is give me the other passage, Job 9:24.
Well, no, I was just saying, like you say, the South is going back. That's why they got the Jim Crow law.
Right.
Trying to pass the Jim Crow law.
Right.
But when you study the Jim Crow law real quick, it came after we came out of slavery. The Jim Crow law was to force them to get back into the prison system.
Right.
The chain gang. The chain gang, you was getting urinating on the streets. In about 10 years, that's where the chain gang comes from.
Right.
Like law, so it's called Jim Crow. That's what the Mississippi is trying to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
The word is they have already passed certain laws.
Right.
They've already passed certain laws now. You know what I'm saying? So they just trying everything.
Yeah.
They trying everything like the they bringing out that the freaking documentary. What they really going to try to do with that is demonize Jake.
Right.
Kind of rapist.
Yeah.
He's over
some sexual predator.
Sexual predator. That's what Esau trying anything.
Right.
Then I seen an article where they said Colombian crack is back on the scene.
Right.
And the brother, what's that brother on Instagram? Shabazz. Brother Shabazz from OG. He does like commentary on he does commentary on like different stories.
Right.
He's kind of like a Willie D of Instagram.
Right.
Right. And he did a commentary. He was like, well, how do you know it's Colombian crack?
Right. Right.
You just told on yourself.
Right.
How you know it's Colombian? And the last thing I knew, crack was crack.
Right.
It's not Colombian. Crack comes from the coke when you cook it up. You cook it up with the baking soda and whatever, and it becomes crack. What the hell is Colombian crack?
Right.
No, you're just telling us that you bought this excess amount of cocaine. That's how the first crack epidemic happened.
Right.
They bought it an excess when Senior Bush was director of the CIA. Cocaine importation went up by 1,000%.
Right.
Right, and the man probably was sniffing after.
Yeah, God.
You know, so they said they was bringing in coke. How does something go up by 1,000%?
Right.
And they was bringing in damn sugar honey iced tea loads of cocaine.
Right.
So when Senior Bush got out of the CIA in '78 as director, they said, well, what are we going to do with all this excess cocaine? The CIA had all this cocaine sitting around. They said we have to come up with a more concentrated and addictive way to take the drug.
Right.
So then they came with freebase. Wow. But freebase was too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Only the Edomites was really, because coke was really an Edomite drug.
Right.
You know, see, coke in itself was an Edomite drug. But then they found a way, they said, we got a more concentrated, more highly addictive way to break this coke down. Because the CIA wasn't going to destroy all that coke.
Right.
They said they want to make money off it. So that's when they came with the crack epidemic.
Right.
They're mad CIA scientists. There you go.
That's Esau in the flesh. That looked like Esau for real. Like.
Right. Yeah, we was dealing with him earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we was dealing with him right before you came. Right. But anyway, so we got to sell all this excess cocaine.
Right.
So that's when they came. They took some mad scientists and put them in a lab, CIA scientists,
right,
and cooked it up in a lab and said, we have a highly addictive form, and we know what the crack epidemic is.
Yeah, God.
So now they're saying Colombian crack is back. How do you know it's Colombian?
Right.
Because you know what, Esau, that's why Biden came out last Black History Month and said, get these niggas free crack pipes.
Right. God, give it.
Because we are supposed to bring another wave of crack in to try to destroy them again, like we did in the 80s.
Right.
So now we got to deal with that again.
God.
But guess what? It's give me Isaiah 54:17. There's a remnant according to the election of grace. There's a remnant of Israel that no matter what you do, it's not going to stop it. I'm not picking up. Ain't nobody dealing with the Most High. I was trying to pick up no damn crack pipe.
Right.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So there's a remnant according to the election of grace. Read what you got, King.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper.
So now Esau is going to try to weaponize the crack again.
Right.
And try to have a redestruction of the 80s on our people.
Right.
Like, come on.
Remix.
And every tongue that is well.
I was wondering why Biden came out with that thought. He just came out of nowhere.
Right.
We're going to give you free drug paraphernalia so you can, if you're going to take the drugs, here's a safe way of taking it. Should you want to, that money you spend for that, that should be to prevent the drugs.
Right.
To stop the drugs. I said, what the hell is, what kind of president would make that announcement?
God.
Oh, a year to a year and a half later, you're going to flood the cities again.
Right. I'm giving you the tools.
I'm giving you the tools. So when you got the tools, you know what I'm saying? It's like somebody give you a stove because they know in the next couple of months I'm about to give you like $5,000 worth of food.
Right.
And I'm gonna give you deep freezers and everything to store the food.
Right.
And you gotta have a place to cook it and store it.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna give you the crack pipe and the drug paraphernalia. I'm gonna set up drug-taking centers. Since when the president of the United States opened up smoke houses?
Right.
But back in the day, you know, niggas had a smoke. You have a crack house and then a smoke house.
Right.
Or you have one in the same. Like you might hustle the crack on the basement, then nobody go upstairs and smoke.
Right.
There was a whole sometime back then the crackheads were selling their houses.
Right.
So the drug dealers would take the whole house and they would say, don't cop and smoke the same place, but you can cop in the basement and then go smoke on the first or second floor.
New Jack City, the enterprise.
Right, the enterprise, right?
And every tongue thou shalt rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn.
So listen, Esau, your damn research, your remix of the damn crack cocaine epidemic is not going to work on Israel. It's not going to work at least on the 1/3. You might sucker some of our people. Because, you know, a remnant of the crackers never went nowhere.
Right.
They still been there.
Right.
They've been smoking crack since
They're
they've been out.
crack veterans.
But the crack veterans, they still been there. But now he's trying to be a resurgence.
Right.
I was wondering why Biden announced that we're giving out free damn crack
Right.
in Black History Month because they want to try another shot at destroying our people.
So Lucky and Sleepy Joe, he's so sleepy, he be revealing himself. They got a footage of a meeting that he had. He had a Zoom meeting, but it was supposed to be private. But he was telling the people America's doomed because the Black and Hispanic population is going to outnumber Edomites. Wow. It came out. He said America's doomed.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European.
Yeah. Right.
Right, but also the brother's absolutely right. Because you a weapon as drugs as a weapon against us.
Right.
The CIA did put that out, right? And they brought that out. The CIA, this book proved it out. The CIA used drugs purposely.
Right.
Put it on Henry Newton. They put it on a lot of these people right here that you see. They put it on Tupac with the weed.
Right.
They did that. So yeah, the brother's absolutely right. So they brought out the drugs.
Right.
Biden is bad because his son is a crackhead. That's what that's what what's today brought out.
Yeah.
His son smoked crack, yo.
Yeah.
And he got mad. You know what I mean? Joe, your son smokes crack.
Right.
You know what I mean? But this crackhead's out back in the day. You can see him on the train now.
Yeah. The crack.
He's smoking the pipe just like how what was his name? Chris.
Yeah. Pookie from New Jack City. Yeah.
David Chappelle's like
That's right. Yeah.
Crackheads ain't never gone, like the brother said, man. The crackheads are still here.
Right.
But it was the CIA government that put the crack out there, and that woman the woman that said she was going to do something about it who said it to a woman. She didn't do a damn thing when it was exposed for Ricky Ross.
Right.
They brought out about the drugs. I forgot her name. Maxine Waters. This gotta stop. Somebody gotta pay. Ain't nobody paying.
Right.
Maxine Waters, because they had that big town hall meeting in LA.
Right.
With that cop, Michael Buford.
Right.
I think that was his name. All right. He had that website, Cop versus CIA. And he said he was the only LAPD officer that had the guts to take on the CIA.
Right.
Because he said he know the CIA was funneling the crack and the weapons and the drugs, the money, to the local gangs in LA. And he said, working as an LAPD officer, I witnessed this firsthand.
Right.
He was the only one. And he tried to come together with Maxine Waters.
He brought it out too. They killed him.
Yeah.
Gary Webb.
Gary Webb, Gary Webb, the reporter. They killed Gary Webb. Yeah. And the other, I think the other guy name was Michael Rupert.
Right.
All right. I think. And they had the big town hall meeting in LA, and Maxine Waters, she did say something gonna be done about this. This is an outrage. This is an outrage. You know what I'm saying? And then the so-called black community was getting on her. They was saying, "Well, you went hard against the gangster rap, so now go hard against the crack cocaine. This must be stopped. Something's gonna be done about the outrage.
Right.
The heads are gonna roll." And now the CIA director at the time, they did fire him because he played himself. They was catching him in all kinds of lies.
Right.
And he just played himself. He just made the CIA look bad, so they fired him. They need another face man. But it all got exposed, man. So here we go again, another damn desperate attempt by the so-called white man.
Right.
You know, he getting desperate now. Man.
Right.
Another desperate attempt to bring a remix of the damn CIA crack cocaine 80s era, trying to bring a damn 2000s remix, man.
Right.
A 2020s remix.
Mm-hmm.
But that was getting desperate.
Right. Right.
But the scriptures say what? Go back to Isaiah 54 again. Read it again. Right?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17.
Yeah.
No weapon that is formed against thee, come on, shall prosper.
Come on.
And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn.
God.
This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me.
Like the brother brought out, Joe Biden is probably mad because his son is a crackhead.
Right.
I think Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden, yeah.
Man, he's mad. And what it is deep down, when you really dig into it, that might be Biden's attempt to get back at Jake.
Right.
Because he probably, in his mind, he probably saying crack is a nigga drug.
Right.
So he, in his sick, twisted mind, is Jake's fault.
Right.
Somehow his son being a crackhead is Judah's fault.
You sold my son crack. It's your fault.
Some way, somehow, it's Judah's fault. So Biden's probably like, look, I'm gonna get another 10, 15 million of these niggas hooked back on crack.
Right.
Just for my one white son.
Right.
Because white blood is so precious. So if Hunter Biden is a crackhead, 15 million black Americans got to become crackheads again.
Right.
That's he's so sick.
Right.
He's mad, man.
Right. Sore loser.
You know, he's
Sore
a sore loser, man. Right. Give me Ezekiel 35:5. Give me the other classic, man. Give me Ezekiel 35:5. That's Esau's. What I'm gonna let the scripture speak. Ezekiel 35:5. He's mad, man. That's what it is. If my son's got to smoke crack, I'm gonna get 100 million of these niggas addicted again.
Right.
Give them free pipes and bring in tons of kilos of Colombian crack. You know what I'm saying? You played yourself right there. How you know it's coming in from Colombia?
Right.
And if you know that much, then you can stop it.
Right.
If you know that much, that is tons of Colombian crack coming in, then you should be able to stop. If you got that intel, you should be able to stop it.
Right.
Right. Read what you got, King.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
There's that perpetual hatred.
Right.
So you try to have a damn crack remix now.
Right.
A damn crack remix. Read what you got, King.
By the force of the sword.
Damn 1980s crack remix. What you gonna make a song with it too?
New Jack City Part 2.
Right, New Jack City Part 2. Read.
In the time of their calamity.
Come on.
In the time that their iniquity had an end.
Even when the Lord is about to forgive us and bring us out of this captivity, Esau got to hold on for dear life to talk about to destroy us.
Right.
Like the devil that he is. Give me drop everything, Joshua 1 and 7. Joshua 1 and 7. So now what does all this have to do with our salvation? Before anybody gets simple, this is identifying the enemy and the problems and how do you avoid it by coming back to the commandments of the Lord.
Right.
Right? But guess what? we gotta watch the devil just like he's watching us.
Right.
Right? We can't be ignorant. You get 2 Corinthians 2:11. Read.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 7.
Yeah.
Only be thou strong
So now, what does that all mean for us as a people? Only be thou strong, God,
and very courageous.
and what?
And very courageous.
And very courageous, God.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses, my servant, commanded thee.
See, now we got to take this as a blessing, man, knowing this truth. This is a blessing, man. The Most High, you're a brand plucked out the fire.
Right.
Speaking of the crack cocaine, I was on 23rd Street. I was on 23rd and 7th on Monday. I was going to meet up with my son to go, chill out, get a bite to eat with my son and my daughter. And Jake was right there on 23rd between 7th and 8th. The man was leaned over on some building smoking crack.
Right.
And I thought about, I'm going to meet my firstborn son.
Right.
Right? So it all came into me like, yo, how many Jakes got destroyed and their families got destroyed and they couldn't be fathers to their children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to thank the Most High for these laws.
Right.
Man. And having a strong spirit because I just see, I'm like, Jake, he just smoked out.
Yeah.
Probably look about maybe mid-50s. And man was sitting there on the side of the bill smoking. He had a crack pipe to his mouth and smoking it. And I'm looking, I'm like, damn, that curse could have hit any one of us as a people.
Right.
And you can't be a father to. I'm thinking the Most High. I'm not some smoked out nigga out here.
Right.
I can go over and be a father to my older child, my older children, and be in the spirit. But Jake is on the side. I'm in Manhattan smoking a damn crack pipe. So I guess it is making a comeback to a degree.
Right.
Khan, what a sad situation that any idea, any evidence that crack could be brought back to plague the so-called black community, that anybody would allow or would seek to bring in crack to plague the black community for whatever justification any person could have in a DNA, in their being, in their mind, whatever it is, that somehow, some way, they would justify bringing back crack and the strength that they brought it in the 80s. That now somehow crack needs to be the headline again. I mean, that is absolutely insane. And all these decades later, all the evidence is pointing to that this was a government enterprise, that the crack was funneled through the government of the United States, the same government that so-called black people depend on to keep you safe and to keep you educated and to keep your food regulated and your housing situation positive. The same government that you expect to do all of these things is funneling, was the one funneling the crack in the 80s. Yaak came out in 1979. And so I got a pretty decent look at the epidemic growing up in the 80s. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Like the elder brother said, thankfully that could have been any of us. But praise to the Father, praise to Ha'aba, it didn't hit my household. Doesn't mean it didn't affect my family, my extended family. But praises to the Father, things are as well as they are. But just to think about that the government, who you depend on to keep you safe, who you think will fight wars for you, who you think got the FDA for you, to keep you safe from the ills of society. Yet, that same government is pushing crack. Pushing crack. Making a comeback. Have mercy, Father. If you know what I know about what crack did against our people, you'll be praying, and praying. Not only praying, but you'll be keeping these commandments, because you'll understand that this crack is nothing to mess with. It's nothing to play with. It's an evil, wicked, outlandish spirit, and it's meant for only evil. There's nothing good. There's no good that comes from it. None whatsoever. With that, this is your Akazaki Yahoo, and I just had to share that little bit of information. I watched that video early this morning, and I had to share it. It's hard to believe that anybody would think that that would be a good idea to bring back something as evil, as treacherous, as destructive as crack. But this is the information that the brothers had and they shared. And it looks pretty convincing to your Akazaki Yahoo. So convincing enough for me to share it. Let me tell you how we're going to stay away from crack. Let me tell you how these things are not going to affect the children of Israel, who keep the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High Power. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 12 and verse number 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. At the end of the day, when all the dust is settled and all the smoke is cleared, it is imperative that we have kept the Most High's commandments from the fear of him. We have kept his commandments because this is the entire reason that we are here. All praise, honor, and great esteem to the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the 4 quarters of the earth. I say Shalom Wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait till the day that the Most High brings us back together. And we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant. Until that day, Shabbat Shalom, family.